Alright, today I'm finally going to talk about the alt-right. Now, I want you to think about white culture for a second. What is it that white people and the alt-right embrace?
You know what, Mr. Dapperton? I should probably answer that for you. Now, the answer to what is the alt-right basically all about, it's about the idea of white identity and preserving the idea of European culture. Because European culture is significant and unique unto itself. Now, I'm hoping that you stick to that, and I'm really hoping you don't change what the alt-right really means to your own specific purpose.
Creating a strong foundation of a family. Having great morals. Being self-reliant, and most importantly, personal responsibility.
Alright, seems like you got a pretty good handle on it so far. Let's see where you go with this.
Sound familiar? Well, it should, because it's Christian values. Christian values, white values, they are interchangeable at this moment.
Wow, I'm genuinely surprised. I mean, most of the time, ANCAPs just call anyone to the left of Friedrich Nietzsche a statist.
You know what else is interchangeable?
What's that?
Libertarian values.
Motherfucker!
Because these are also libertarian values.
Oh my god. Well, what else did I expect from an atheist who's now trying to tell me how to Christian?
Instead of being completely reliant on the police, you own a gun and you protect your family yourself.
That is literally the only thing that Christians have in common with libertarians. Otherwise, libertarians are basically just nihilists.
That's self-reliance and personal responsibility. Instead of getting help from the government or welfare and being reliant on other people's money, you instead believe in personal responsibility and believe that you should be able to take care of your family yourself. Also, Christians believe in good morals and nonviolence.
Okay, no. Christians believe in good morals and nonviolence, but let me show you a little clip that kind of shows you that libertarians don't believe in the same thing.
It's 2015. Many of us are familiar with atheism and the stereotypical image it conjures. However, most of us realize atheists say, do, and believe in a diversity of things and ideas. Atheists can be conservative, liberal, gay, straight, male, female, or some other gender that Tumblr invented. The only thing that unites them is their lack of belief, or their belief in the illegitimacy or non-existence of a deity. What does this have to do with libertarianism? Well, think of libertarianism in a similar way. Libertarians are only inherently united by their lack of belief in government authority, or their belief in the illegitimacy of the state. A libertarian, too, can also be gay, straight, male, female, otherkin, and yes, they can even consider themselves to be conservative or liberal, as long as they don't use the government to force their beliefs onto others. Basically, a libertarian believes that as long as you aren't physically hurting or threatening someone, you're free to do whatever you want.
And that basically sums it up. So in other words, you can be a libertarian and a Christian at the same time, but like hell, you can believe only what libertarians believe, or have all the same beliefs and just the same beliefs as libertarians and be a Christian. That would never fly. I am not a libertarian because libertarians in the libertarian community tend to be pretty nihilistic, to the point where, just like atheists, they will tell you, you can't even shame people. Well, here's the thing. If I find out that someone in my family is a prostitute or is a porn star, I immediately cut them out of my life. I haven't talked to my godmother because she drinks too much alcohol. Even though she's not someone who is necessarily dependent on alcohol, I will never let her see my children, for one particular reason, because my standards are a little bit higher than that.
As do libertarians. Libertarians believe in good morals, and they believe in the non-aggression principle.
The community that you guys have built along with the atheist community, which tends to cross over a lot, is the reason that I blame for why all of a sudden giving someone a deadly disease like AIDS is now a misdemeanor in California. Oh, I'd also like to add on, it's atheism and libertarianism that is the primary reason why places like Germany and Great Britain are completely emasculated, while Poland is the only one with the balls to stand up to the European Union. Honestly, I have some libertarian leanings and I don't apologize for them. But guess what? It's people like you and your community that have completely neutered places like Europe, except for places like Poland where they're heavily Catholic.
My point here is that what a libertarian believes is exactly what a Christian believes.
No, the fuck it's not. The only thing you guys believe in is the non-aggression principle, which can be summed up as, hey, if you leave me alone, I'll leave you alone. Yay, tolerance. And that's it.
And what a Christian believes is exactly what the alt-right believe. Now, I am atheist, but I love Christianity because I love Christian values. I love what Christians teach people. I also appreciate white culture because I like the fact that they embrace libertarian values. But in my opinion, out of the three, the most superior is libertarianism. Why? Because it's not tied to a God that may or may not be imaginary.
You know what, Mr. Dapperton? I'm going to give you a little bit of credit before I criticize you. Reason being, because you're not a Puritan like esoteric entity or Shane Killian or so many other people in the libertarian ANCAP community. And I got to give you a little bit of credit for that. Because unlike all those guys, you don't immediately shout, "Statist!" the second someone disagrees with you. Because we both know that that word is pretty much another way of saying, hey guys, if you don't agree with me on my exact way of living life and having no state whatsoever, the reason why you must want a state is not because, I don't know, maybe you think that having a country that does not have a state is unfeasible and that the state is a necessary evil. You must just love the state. You must want a full-on communist society because any state is all the states. So, you know what? I'll give you that. With that being said, no, Mr. Dapperton, libertarian values are not Christian values. The only thing you got right there was that a lot, and not even all, but most of what the alt-right believes does go back to Christian values.
Because it's not tied to something superficial like melanin, the color of your skin. To me, the core values is what's important. Whether or not your skin's white or not, or whether or not you believe in a man in the clouds, doesn't really matter. Those details just aren't important. They're not. Now, it's true that more white people are going to believe in these values more so than another race. But the important thing to know here, it's completely possible for another race to adopt these principles. So we shouldn't do what the alt-right wants to do and just get rid of all the people who aren't white.
That's not what the alt-right believes. The alt-right believes in what's called an ethno-state. The idea and the way to accomplish an ethno-state is to take all the countries in the West and simply deport everyone of a different skin color who happens to have come here illegally back to their country of origin. And that includes in America and in every single European nation in the world. And the entire idea behind that is everything when it comes to the amount of minorities in that country will go back to what it normally was, which was about 10 to or less percent of minorities in that nation, except for in the United States where we're more ethnically diverse, but that wouldn't require the deportation of anyone else, and simply trying to maintain no more, no less white people. And it's more focused on culture than anything else. The idea behind the alt-right is not to destroy everyone. You know what? Forget it. Just watch my video about what the alt-right actually believes.
Instead, it would be useful to keep them around because they believe in your values. But the alt-right doesn't see that. They just want to throw them out, and that's where they're wrong. You see, these values aren't tied to race. They really aren't. See, for example, a white person is completely capable of not being self-reliant, being completely dependent on government welfare.
I know. TJ Kirk should really get a job by now.
Dependent on others, which is not personal responsibility. It's not self-reliant. White men are completely capable of abandoning their kids and breaking up the nuclear family. And white people are completely capable of having bad morals and being capable of evil.
Before anyone asks, no, I am not alt-right. But dude, you should really watch more Woes, Spencer, and Ayla before you go ahead and start talking about the alt-right.
What's the alt-right going to do when a white person doesn't act white and doesn't believe in their values? What are they going to do? Throw them out too? The point is they'll never achieve their goals if they're obsessed with race, because race, in the end of the day, doesn't make a difference. If they really want to achieve their goals, they will drop the whole race thing and stop being alt-right and instead embrace libertarian values and teach libertarian values to all races. Other races are completely capable of embracing what they believe. Rounding up all the Hispanics and darkies at the end of the day ain't gonna make a difference. But teaching every race the importance of your values will. See, out of white values, Christianity, and libertarianism is superior.
Libertarian values are not superior. They're nihilistic, pathetic, and you know what? Fuck this. I'm done, guys. I'm officially done. I'll see you next time, okay? Hashtag Polish exit. I am the Angel of Objectivism, signing off.